Tuesday morning after breakfast, Nathaniel asked us to meet all in the main lobby to discuss last night's incident. I'm not sure Bradley knows what happened at all, but the other two look worried. What has Linds told them? Linds and Rafael aren't here yet. We're waiting for them. We've heard that. However, it's clear the power demands are slightly higher than anticipated. Affect the force fields. Don't get upset. Should I be upset? He stares at me. Janet, why aren't you saying anything? What's going on? Does she know? Know what? Why don't you stop dancing around the subject and just tell him? If he knew what you were doing, he'd agree with you. Janet. Listen, Bradley, Albin's sister is sick. Very sick. So they've made up a hospital room in the basement and Linds is trying to help her. What? That's why they don't want us messing around down there. That's why they don't want to turn off the power to try to fix the force fields, to save Bianca's life. I had no idea. It was none of your business. When we don't know what's going on, we're more likely to worry and invent bizarre theories and cause trouble, you know. Which is why I was about to tell him, but someone jumped the gun. You were taking too long. How come Janet knew? Why didn't you tell me? She's not fair. I went down with Linds last night during the power outage, so I saw the lab. May I see? Just to verify the story? It should be okay as long as he promises not to touch anything, right? If you hurt her, I will kill you very slowly. I wouldn't expect anything else. Boys. Then follow me. Together we descend the stairs. Knowing what to expect, I can keep my eyes on Bradley as we enter. He stares wide-eyed as we all hang back around the edges of the room. Is she in a coma? Not exactly. Bianca will not remember, but we will. Let us go. Okay. We go to the sitting room. Okay, so they explain about the spies thing, and then as everybody heads off in their separate directions, I tail after Linds. I find him in the kitchen making coffee. This experiment, how dangerous is it? To us or to Bianca? Both? Either. Well, since it's never been done before, it's impossible to be sure. All readings indicate that the procedure is strongly affecting Bianca's ethereal signature. The complete discharge should definitely have results. I simply don't know what those results will be. She could still die. It's quite likely that she will. However, if we had done nothing, she would certainly have died anyway. That doesn't sound reassuring. Nathaniel and Albin, do they know this might not work? Of course. What about the risk to us, then? Completely unquantifiable. We aren't meant to be affected at all. But we may be. Who knows? The only side effect reaching the rest of us at the moment is these mysterious force fields, and they don't appear to cause any harm. So it's a completely untested and very illegal medical procedure being carried out secretly by a mad scientist who has no idea what it will do. Do you often do things this crazy? This is not proper medical research. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. He takes a sip of his coffee, then rapidly sucks in air to cool the mouthful. And to answer your question, yes, I have often carried out frontline research. Life is fleeting. You take what you can, when you can. Actually, I'm surprised at you, Janet. You know that I have access to certain superior technologies and drugs that your world has not invented. Yet you have made no attempt to acquire them. What sort of medical student are you? I'm not a med student. Well, not officially yet, but that hardly matters. You don't understand. All my life, my parents wanted me to be a doctor, not because of anything about me, but because that's what all parents in their social circles want. Doctor, lawyer, politician, MBA, but especially doctor. It's not just the money, it's the status. It's the most respectable job there is. My parents sent me to the best prep school in town, even though it was a religious school and we're not Christian. They expected me to go to an Ivy, that is one of the oldest and most prestigious universities in my country. Then med school, then doctor. This isn't what you wanted. I don't know. I think I wanted it for the same reasons they did. Status, showing off. Not because I really wanted to have people's lives in my hands. I always had good grades, and I knew I was smarter than my classmates, so I thought I had it in the bag. Then I failed. You failed a class. No, never. I failed to get accepted to an Ivy. My application wasn't well-rounded enough. I didn't have sports and clubs and hobbies because I didn't have friends. Brooke is a nice school, but no one's ever heard of it except because of how pretty the campus is. I mean, it's not bad. Plenty of people go on to med school from Brooke. It's just not impressive in the way my parents wanted. They were very disappointed. I see. And that made me think about what I really wanted, which I don't know, actually. I want to learn things as much as I possibly can, but I don't really want to be a doctor. I just hate letting my parents down. Finally, I stop babbling and see the expressions on his face. What's wrong? Nothing. Parents. Your parents aren't happy with your line of work? They don't have the ability to be. They are dead. At least I assume so. Since I never knew who my father was, I can't be sure. I'm sorry. No need. Parents cause everyone trouble. Which is why I will never have children. More than enough people have reason to hate me as it is. I hear footsteps behind me as someone else enters the room. There you are. He looks at the cup in Linds's hand. Is that all you're having for breakfast? No. Rafael sighs and shakes his head, then begins putting together a proper meal. Linds simply watches, a faintly wistful Something tells me if Linds lived in our universe, he would totally be the sort of person who would live on like a Soylent diet or something. The guy who just keeps forgetting to eat until absolutely necessary, drinking coffee to stay alive. Oh, jeez. Rafael probably takes care of him like kind of parental-like in the absence of actual parents, I would bet. Rafael sighs and shakes his head and begins putting together a proper meal. Linds simply watches, a faintly wistful expression on his face. They're not dating, they're not master and servant, they're not related. I don't understand what is between them. I suppose I should just get out of your way. I can cook for you too, I really don't mind. But what could I do for you in return? Help me keep an eye on Linds? Should I run twice as fast to ensure there's enough work to go around? I don't think that's necessary. Maybe it's not such a mystery. Maybe they're just friends. It's nice to have friends. Aw, that's sweet. Okay, now we're on to the hangman game. There we go. H is added to ravishing. Ravishing? Indeed. Maybe later. That line changes. That's great. Okay. Okay, that was it for that. It's late. I should be going to bed shortly, but I can't relax. There's less than 24 hours to go before Linds's experiment concludes. Tomorrow he creates the energy pulse designed to drag a departed soul back to its barely living body. At least so he says. In terms of science as I know it, I believe he's trying to jumpstart the failing electrical systems of a damaged brain. It could work, or it could destroy what tissue is left. Even though they know the risks, can Nathaniel and Albin avoid blaming Linds if it all goes wrong? I don't know if I could bring myself to throw that switch. To kill someone, even if you were trying to help them. How could you go on after that? I'm not a religious person. That doesn't mean I'm an atheist either. I don't know what's really out there. Maybe there is a God. Maybe there's somewhere we go when we die. Maybe my ancestors were right and our souls are reborn in new bodies until we transcend our desire for earthly pleasures. Or maybe the earthly pleasures are all we'll ever have, and once it's over, it's over. Janet! Rafael runs up to me and grabs one of my hands. Please come, I need your help. What is it? What's wrong? It's Linds. He fell. His hand on my arm is warm and damp as he guides me along. He took something more than alcohol, and he was wandering around and he fell down the stairs to the basement. I can't tell if he's alright, and I don't know if it's safe for him to move. And you're the closest thing I have to a doctor otherwise. I don't know what's happened, but it doesn't sound good. He could have broken bones or be unconscious or worse. To my relief, I see Linds sitting on the landing, leaning against the wall. His eyes are open, and there's nothing obviously bent the wrong way. What happened to you? Fell, hit my head, but I'm fine. His speech does sound a bit slurred, though. Not like that's any different from usual the way I voice him. Let me look. His pupils are somewhat dilated, but they're equal in size, which should rule out the worst possibilities. I poke at his fingers and feet. Feel that? That's not how I want to touch. But can you feel it? Yes. How many fingers am I holding up? 2. Who's the president? President of what? Oh, right. Who's the Prime Minister of Atlanta? Ferraro. Did you black out at all when you fell? Maybe just a second, I'm fine. Is he okay? I think he's just drunk, or high, whatever. I can't see any obvious problems. But I'm not a doctor, you know, I can't be sure. Wanna play doctor? Hush you. What's he on anyway? Allergy meds? Surely he knows better than to mix antihistamines and alcohol. It's something he makes himself. You're on designer drugs? Don't you know how dangerous that is? I'm a chemist. Experiments! The doctor who treats himself as a fool for a patient. What about taste your own medicine? It's not safe, you could fry your brain. I cook safe drugs, no problems. You fell down the stairs. Please, what do we do now? Well, he did hit his head and possibly black out, and he's clearly not himself. The best thing I can suggest is to give him some water, get him to bed, and check every hour or so to be sure he can still wake up and know his name. Now you want to go to bed with me? I roll my eyes. Come on, you get his other side. We can't let him fall and hit his head again. Who knows what he might end up with. Right. Together, Rafael and I support Linds up the stairs and into bed. There's nothing wrong. I'm fine. You rest. I turn to Rafael. Wake him up every hour or two and make sure his brain is still operating. Me? But aren't you staying? It's late. I was planning on going to bed. If I stay here to look after Linds, I won't get any sleep. Okay. Should Janet stay with Linds and Rafael? Okay, I was expecting this question to be in a slightly different context, but okay. Saving. I guess we'll use up that last save slot. Okay. Because I want to go back and look at these other choices later, too. But yes, of course we are going to stay and help Linds through the bad drunkiness. There we go. Rafael came to me for help. He needs me. Linds needs me. The only reason I'm even thinking of walking away is because I'm angry at Linds for doing this to himself. For making me worry. And pretending not to care is not a mature way to deal with the situation. Of course I'll stay. We turn the lights down so that Linds can rest, then sit on the floor beside the bed. Of course we have to stay awake ourselves, so we keep talking with our voices low. So, how long have you been living with Linds? Couple of years now, I guess. What? But I thought you were only 18. That's right. Is 16 considered adult in Atlanta? I'm not from Atlanta. I thought you said that already. Okay, he sighs. I was on the streets in Amarillo, and I was sick. Linds took me in because I had nowhere else to go. He took care of me. He saved my life. Wow. Why are you surprised? Linds is a good person. I know that. I surprise myself as I say it because it's true. Linds is a flirt and a brat and a tease, but he wouldn't harm someone deliberately or force them to do something they didn't want to do. He lets me stay with him because he knows what it's like to be alone. His mother died when he was my age, and he doesn't have any other family. What happened to her? I think she overdosed on Sopor. And he still takes drugs? Not opiates. What's the difference? Does he do things like this often? Get drunk or drugged up and hurt himself? He doesn't hurt himself. This was an accident. It was bad luck. It could have happened even if he were sober. He's careful. He always warns me if he's trying something new. He's made himself sick a few times, but never anything serious. He never gets violent. But he does this a lot? Why? Linds takes things to relax and have fun, or give himself ideas. What about you? Do you take this stuff? I don't think it's right for me. But you let Linds do it. It's not my place to tell him what to do. He knows what's right for him. I just wish... What? Sometimes I wish he wouldn't bring so many different people home. To bed, you mean? Yes, that. Linds meets lots of strange people. Some of them are nice, some are scary. I'm worried he's going to get into trouble someday. He won't look after himself. I have to remind him to eat and sleep. Yeah, that's what I thought. And if I didn't clean up after him, he never would. He takes a lot of risky jobs, too, and I love him, and I'm scared that... You love him? Not like that. Keep your voice down. We glance up at the bed, but Linds isn't stirring. I think he's asleep. I hope so, anyway. I care about him a lot. He's my angel. He saved me. Aw. But you don't love him that way. I'm not sure. Well, maybe. It doesn't matter anyway, he's not interested. I've seen him flirt with all kinds of people, but never me. I find it hard to imagine that Linds wouldn't be at least a little bit interested. Rafael's sweet and caring and incredibly pretty. Please say this is leading to like an OT3 or something. I'm not smart enough for him. I never even finished high school. He needs someone like you. You're smart and you're kind and you're not into anything dangerous. I'd be happy if he stayed with you. I'm not sure how I feel about him now or how he feels about me. I grew up being told that anyone who takes drugs is stupid or selfish or suicidal. I don't know if I can get past that. Yeah, she's having sort of similar judgmental problems like she had with Albin. Like, it's a wonder that she didn't, like, go off on him more about the absinthe before. So she's still got that kind of issue to work past. I don't know if I can walk away either. Maybe I should have stuck to my original plan and avoided getting emotionally involved with Linds. So you two met in El Dorado 2 years ago, and you've been together ever since? That's right. Is it allowed for teenagers from one country to live in the other? Not exactly. Linds made up some papers for me. Oh, so Rafael's an illegal immigrant. That's interesting. That is very interesting. He forged documents? Just a little bit. You know, if he was willing to risk jail and smuggle you over the border to keep you with him, I'm pretty sure that means he likes having you around. It wasn't a big deal. He does that sort of thing anyway. It sounds like a big deal to me. I'm sure he'll get you and Bradley papers too. He said he'd help us find our way home to our world. So I might be spending time with Linds while we search, but if we do find a way back, I'll be gone. Do you think you'll find it? I don't know. Okay, at this point, I'm pretty sure I have split the episode somewhere in the middle. Sorry if you had kind of an abrupt start to this episode, but I really don't want to stop. I really don't want to stop at this point. So sorry if I underestimated the number of parts it would take to get through the rest of Linds's route. Okay, but anyways, continuing. Rafael's fallen asleep on the floor. I don't want to disturb him. It's time to wake Linds for his final check. There's something funny just about the way that he, like, zoop from the bottom of the screen there. Hang on, let me see that again. Zoop! Oh, you again. I know my name, the year's 1984, the fourth subjective tense is entirely irrelevant. Well, he sounds like himself now. And as an insomniac at the best of times, I will not be able to get back to sleep. I fold my arms and glare at him. Too bad about your beauty sleep. I haven't had any sleep at all yet because I had to stay up watching and worrying about you. I didn't make you do that. I couldn't just leave you there. You're impossible. You said you did not want to become a doctor. There are other roles in medicine besides surgery, you know. Nursing or general practice might suit you. I'm going to bed. Linds swings his feet out of bed and cautiously stands. I can't sleep, so I might as well escort you. Whatever. Can't he even say thank you? Are you sure you aren't trying to sneak into my bedroom? You find my current attire inconspicuous? Well, no. I'm still not inviting you in. I open the door. Oh, here goes the force field thing. Oh, this is probably why the dream isn't in the same place as before. Okay. What? Linds, look at this. You changed your mind? The force field once contained to the window's glass has now crawled into my room and is flickering over the entire surface of the wall. I thought you said the force fields were the result of interactions with the security system and the wiring in the door and the windows. What about that? It was the best hypothesis I had at the time. I'll need to take some readings before I know anything more. You should grab a couple hours sleep while you can. I can't sleep in here with that. Sleep in my room then. I don't have any windows. What about the others? Should we wake them? Let them know what's happening? Not until I have any more information or the situation deteriorates. Sleep now. I'll fetch you in a couple hours. It's early in the morning and I can barely keep my eyes open. I don't feel rested at all. I had terrible nightmares. I was swimming in a black ocean, trying to get away from a whirlpool that was pulling me in. I saw something bright bobbing on the waves, something coming towards me, and I thought it might be something I could use to stay afloat and save myself. But when I got closer, I saw it was Linds, floating dead or unconscious. And he was swept past me into the whirlpool, dragged under and gone. Rafael, Nathaniel, Albin, Bradley, all of them drowned before my eyes, and it was only a matter of time before I would follow, and I woke with a terrible sense of doom hanging over me. Everyone else is still in bed, but that may not last long. We only have a limited amount of time to figure out what to do about this. Here, too, the force field has shrunk inward and is now standing about an inch from the door. I see you haven't managed to stop its progress. So what's causing this? I'm still not completely certain. Clearly I was mistaken about the nature of the interference. It must be some sort of ethereal pressure differential relating to the growing potential energy. Ethereal? Linds waves a hand vaguely. I'm applying pressure to the universe. The universe is pressing back. Really, one has to expect a few unusual reactions when tampering with the forces of nature. Fires, floods, explosions, hallucinations. These things happen. Hallucinations or weird dreams, maybe. It sounds more like magic than science to me, but it's happening, so I can't argue with it at the moment. What's it going to do to us? The nature of the force fields appears unchanged, non-damaging resistance. No one will be harmed. Unless we're crushed between them. At the current rate of movement, it shouldn't come near the laboratory by the end of the cycle. It didn't move at all for several days, as far as we can tell. It's not stable. The speed could go up exponentially. That is possible. I'm more concerned about what will happen to the fields at the moment of activation. They could dissolve on the spot, or explode outwards, or collapse in on themselves. I suppose we'll find out. That's all you have to say about the risks? We'll find out? For science! Everyone knew there would be risks. Maybe Nathaniel and Albin were willing to risk their lives for Bianca, but what about Bradley and me? What about Rafael? Rafael chose to come here. He's here because he's in love with you! He is grateful to me because I cured his illness and gave him a place to stay. He loves you. He'd do anything for you. And I have never taken advantage of that. I have never touched that child. No, instead you've just made him feel like he's not good enough for you. He's not a child anymore. Then perhaps when this assignment is finished, I should encourage him to move out on his own. Pretending not to care is not a mature way to deal with your feelings. It doesn't help anything. This experiment has become unpredictable. What will you do if it goes wrong? How will you feel if the smoke clears and Rafael's lying dead on the floor? That won't happen. You don't know what will happen! I point at the force field. You didn't think that would happen! And a reaction as strong as that force field proves I'm onto something. If I save Bianca, this could become the discovery of a lifetime. But is it worth all our lives? You said that you were irreplaceable, but you're always taking chances. You avoid stable jobs and relationships. You don't take care of yourself. Why are you in such a hurry to burn out? Isn't it better to go out with a bang? Live fast, die young, leave a beautiful memory? Isn't it better to leave a lifetime of achievements? If you live long enough, sooner or later, your past will catch up with you. Then make choices you can live with. It's a bit late for that. Then tell someone what your problems are so you can face them together. I care about you. Rafael cares about you. You're not alone. I shake my head. It's your experiment. Only you know how out of control it's getting and whether it's worth it to continue. If I shut this process down, Bianca will die. You're supposed to be brilliant, right? Find another way out of this. In just 13 hours? That's why we need a miracle worker. Ah! This is getting much better than the Albin ending at this point, honestly. Like, I liked the Albin ending a lot, but this is a little bit more like... this feels like a little bit more... I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, even. I feel a little bit more for Rafael and Linds' situation here. All in a bunch, we pelt down the stairs, clawing at the rails to keep from falling. Linds, the force field is collapsing! Like I said! What do you have to say about that? Janet, be careful! He catches my elbow as I stumble. We need to get inside! Albin pulls the door open and holds it so that everyone can crowd in through the laboratory. Power levels are still increasing. The force fields are speeding up out there. We'll be crushed. Perhaps I should recalculate my risk parameters. Can you do it or can't you? With such a powerful reaction, it's clear that something will happen when we engage the plasma conduit. There is a substantial chance that it will kill us all. His hand hovers over a series of controls. The beta connector's blown loose again. Rafael, reconnect that. Yes, sir. 3 minutes and counting, but the levels are high enough that we could engage now if necessary, if the fields keep coming. I swallow hard. This is it then. We're all gonna die. If it doesn't make a difference, then do it now, before this gets worse. Linds hesitates. Well, what are you waiting for? Linds? I'm staring at him and I can't breathe for hoping. Reaction levels are outside tolerance. I've got to shut it down. What? Switching to backup plan. What backup plan? I have a better idea for saving Bianca, but first I've got to save us. Executing shutdown sequence. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Well, at least we didn't, accidentally, encourage Albin to, sacrifice himself by holding on to his sister or something. The experiment was cancelled. The power lights dimmed and then returned to normal. The force fields faded away. It was all over. Sometime later. So by preserving the brain pathways, we will theoretically be able to extract Bianca's memories and personality. Once the emulation is viable, it could be implanted into a robotic body, or maybe robotic bodies. I'm actually looking forward to when I'll be able to perform the same procedure on myself. But not before it's tested and safe, right? Of course. But that could take many years. Well, the extraction and mapping could be done as soon as possible. Solving the uploading problem will require some time. But Bianca will not experience that passage of time. She won't have changed. But we may have. No, I understand. It's the best option. Even Albin should accept that eventually. If you don't mind, I'd like to be alone for a while. Of course. We walk up the stairs in silence. I guess that is interesting that because Janet and Linds have been talking so much science, that gave him the idea to maybe, see that was possible to get this brain mapping option worked out, maybe. Okay. There you are, I was waiting for you. Which one of us? Now that the force field's down, I thought you might like to see our world. That's a good idea. I should make preparations. I reach out and grab both of their hands. Let's all go together. Yay! OT3, please! That would be awesome. And as one chain with me in the center, we walk through the door. Did we see the outside of the house in the last ending? I can't remember. So this is the world they live in. The sun is setting, the air is fresh and clean, with promises of summer. The future is waiting for us. So this is how you would tell which universe you're in at the end, whether it's raining or not at the end when you go outside. Okay, so Janet and Bradley never found any trace of the wormhole or Bradley's sister Susan or any way back to their home universe. But they were both young and they had good friends to help them with a new start. In time they'd forget the world they'd left. Janet decided on a computer science degree at a local university with a special focus on artificial intelligence. Combined with her knowledge of advancements from her universe, she was able to become a well-paid consultant and support herself with only part-time work, devoting the rest of her time to further education and experimentation. She was aided in her pursuit of knowledge by her housemates, Linds and Rafael. Together they intended to solve the uploading problem. Rather than live to grow old, they could hope to live forever. Ending 7, Conduit. Interesting! So it's not entirely a romantic ending with Linds, actually. It's more like a friendship ending. With all three of them. I guess it could be the polyamorous ending, maybe, or you could read that as friends, whatever you prefer. That's a really interesting option to have as the good ending for Linds. Huh. Now I'm really curious to see what the bad ending would be. I would guess that it probably has something to do with Linds, not taking that safe route to the end of the experiment. Maybe it kills them all, maybe he accidentally kills himself, I don't know. But we will see next time when we look at the bad Linds ending and a few of the other choices that we missed along the way with him. See you guys later. Goodbye!